Hi everybody, this is David Newton, your personal sommelier from teachingwineonline.com, and I'm standing here with Brian McClintic. He is a master sommelier, and he has taken a little time to come to Divine and do a tasting. What was the winery that we were featuring today?
Sommelier Vineyards.
Okay, and the wines went over great, so we really appreciate him being here. I have some questions to ask him. As a sommelier, I have never had an opportunity to do this, so this is a privilege for me. So my first question for you is, what do you think is the most important role that a sommelier plays, a master sommelier? Considering the fact you wear a lot of different hats, what do you think is probably the thing that is at the top of your list?
You know, it's really hard to tie down to one thing, but if you could encapsulate what a sommelier is in one sentence, I mean, the word by definition is we're wine stewards. We're servants. We're glorified servants, but we're servants. So our role, our function, is to serve, and it's in a restaurant format, aristocratic role. But at the end of the day, you're all about the guest and taking care of the guest, and that's what the court is all about, and that's what a sommelier is by definition.
Okay. All right, another question I have for you is, how important is the food background as far as being a sommelier, a master sommelier?
Yeah, it's highly important. The role of food and wine, especially in the United States, is something that is not as prevalent as it should be. I mean, you go to Europe and there's wine on the table with every meal. We live in a culture that our wine is almost our meal, and there's an element missing in food and wine relationship with pairing, and you can really change people's perspectives of a wine when you start to pair it with food, and to see how well a wine can elevate a dish, and vice versa, how well a dish can be elevated by wine.
Okay.
So,
all right, I like this question. I'm going to surprise you. Is there such thing as a master sommelier having a New World palate over an Old World palate? Is it a Western palate? Or do you think most master sommeliers are going to be heavier on the Old World?
Most master sommeliers are going to be heavier on the Old World for sure. Is it possible to have a New World palate? Absolutely. You know, I was born and raised on Napa wines, and they're fantastic. You know, why wouldn't you celebrate the sun if you were in Napa Valley, right? But by and large, definitely there's, you know, Old World wines are a little bit more difficult to get, but with food they can just be absolutely amazing. And it took a long time for me to get Old World wines, but when it clicked, I was like, wow, okay, there it is. You know.
All right, what's your favorite variety?
Riesling, hands down. I probably shouldn't. I want to keep it a secret because especially German Riesling is one of the best values on earth. I mean, you can get a $10, $15 bottle of German Riesling, and this is in a class with any Burgundy, any Bordeaux, any great powerful cult Napa Cab, all of the wines that you associate with the most expensive wines in the world. German Riesling at $15, $20 is that good, and I think the association with sweetness really mars that grape, but those are some of the most long-lived, beautifully pure, transparent wines that we have in this world. The last great value.
All right. It's not that big of a secret anymore, is it? Okay, and then my last question for you is, what was the testing process like to become a master sommelier?
The testing process for the Court of Master Sommeliers was about as brutally hard as any cerebral exam you could possibly imagine. It takes the commitment of any other similar pursuit, whether it's a medical field, whether it's law, your CPA exam. It's that kind of a commitment. The pass rate is just under 5%. In the 40 years that the test has been administered, there have been 180 master sommeliers in the world that have passed. So I think the failure rate speaks for itself. It was incredibly hard.
All right, Brian, thank you for joining me at teachingwineonline.com.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
All right. I think we'll just